in some ways things are getting back to normal here in Pleasant Grove. And when we heard that a game was going to be played that involved a bat and a ball, we knew we needed to send Chris Pallone to cover that story. So finally, after almost 3 weeks, you got to cover something kind of fun tonight.
That's right, and that's what's been fun about this storm nearly 3 weeks after it struck, Mike, is that we're starting to see small pieces of normality return to these communities. Things that maybe didn't seem significant before are really taking on a high level of significance now. For people in Pleasant Grove like Hope Thompson and her little girl Emily, this is more than just a children's softball game. It's a small piece of normal and a life that's been anything but since April 27th.
I was ready for them to go back to school and ready for them to come back here because that's where they spend most of their time this time of year. So I was ready for our kids to get back out.
The Thompsons lost everything they had in the massive tornado that hit Pleasant Grove, and it's been nearly 3 weeks since Emily hit the field with her friends. Still, she took to the batter's box like a duck to water.
Actually, on every time I hit, I actually got a hit and made it to first or second base.
In the time since the storm hit, the Thompsons learned exactly what the word community means around here.
You didn't want for anything. Everybody was coming around making sure you had food, you had water, you had toiletries you needed, any work gear, anything you needed, they made sure that you had. So we have a great community, and we're very blessed.
The Thompsons will live in Hueytown for a bit while their house is being rebuilt, but returning to Pleasant Grove is a top priority.
This tragedy has shown us what our community is about, and you know, through tragedy comes hope, and we're about to rebuild our community better than it was before.
It's been a rough 3 weeks for Emily and Hope Thompson, but things seem to be getting better a little bit at a time.
It would be bad and good.
Bad and good. Bad before, right? But good now? Good.
And the same goes for boys. They start to practice again tomorrow. They'll be back at games by this weekend. Before this storm hit, maybe your average softball or baseball game wasn't much of a significant event, just another thing on the calendar to X off that you drop your kids off at, Mike. But now things like this, parents are driving from Hoover, Hueytown, they're staying all over the place. They don't mind a bit. They want these kids back in school, and they want them back on the playing field to be with their friends and to feel normal again.
Folks a lot smarter than me says it's very important to get them back to some routine, some normalcy, as you put it, and that's what they're doing on the ball field.
That's what they're doing.
You said you saw some pretty good stances tonight. The arms up.
Little 2-year-old kids and 3-year-old. I couldn't even sit up at 2 years old. These kids are hitting the ball. It was great.